This isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't rumors. This is real, guys. It's happening right now. November 1st, UFC Vegas 110, Isaac Dulgarian versus Jadir Dilval. This was a featherweight bout on the main card. Dulgarian was a heavy favorite to win, minus 250 odds, and he was supposed to clean house. He was supposed to dominate this guy, but something weird started happening hours before the fight, and the betting lines were shifting dramatically. Dulgarian's odds were dropping from minus 250 all the way to minus 130, and money was pouring in on Dilval to win this match. So not just to win, but it was to win specifically in the first round by submission. That's what triggered it all, okay? So the UFC betting integrity partner, IC360, immediately flagged the unusual activity, and they contacted the promotion hours before the fight. They told the UFC, hey, something is wrong. There's a suspicion in the betting patterns. Large bets from new accounts, and things are shifting dramatically. So it was all red flags on the betting lines. So Dana White confirmed that the UFC basically called Dulgarian and his lawyers right before the fight to ask him directly, hey, listen, man, like, are you injured? Something's happening. Do you owe money? Are you in trouble? You know, like, just to check on the guy that, hey, if you need help, we are here to support you. At least that's what I'm getting from Dana White. Dulgarian said, you know, nothing is wrong. I'm good. I'm going to murder this guy. And I guess he was so convincing that the UFC said, you know what? Let it go. But then the fight happened. First round, Dulgarian looked like he forgot how to fight. I heard Michael Chiesa call the performance complete garbage. And he's right. Dulgarian fought like a novice. He got caught in a rear naked choke that he didn't even attempt. Like, this is basic jiu-jitsu, okay? You peel the hand from the top, you kind of like go on your back to slide out. Like, this is basic jiu-jitsu, okay? Even a white belt can do it. But it was a first round submission, exactly what was suspected from IC360. UFC immediately called the FBI, and major sportsbook refunded all the bets on the fight. The Nevada Athletic Commission also withheld Dulgarian's purse just, you know, because there's investigation. They can't pay the guy out. And the UFC decided to cut him. Like, I'm not sure about that piece yet, because if you can't prove that he's guilty, why would you cut him right away? But anyway, Dana White decided. Dana White also met with FBI agents and spoke directly with Kash Patel. They're in the same circles these days, and yeah, this is not a small investigation. This is federal. This is serious, guys. And here is where things get even worse. After Dulgarian's fight, multiple UFC fighters came out on social media saying that they have been approached to throw away fight for money. Vince Morales claimed he was offered $70,000 to throw a fight out years ago. Vanessa Demopoulos said that she's been approached. Lando Vannata posted about it. Several others came forward with similar stories. Now, guys, like, if you know this stuff is wrong, why don't you come forward immediately? That is my question. Now, some of these fighters later walked back their claims and said that they were joking, but not all of them. And Dana was obviously upset that the fighters are only coming forward now instead of reporting it to law enforcement when it happened. That is exactly my point too, because you know, you have to report it when things are wrong, if your integrity is so up there, right? Dana White said then, if you try to do this, we will be your worst enemy. We will immediately go after you, guns blazing, with the FBI and whoever we need to get so they can put you in jail. Now, guys, this has been happening for a long time. This is my opinion. I think there's been lots of fighters involved in this kind of stuff. The biggest bombshell is that unconfirmed reports claim that the federal regulators have flagged over 100 UFC fights from 2025 already. And they flagged him for abnormal betting patterns, like 100 fights, including the 2 additional fights from this same UFC Vegas 110 card. If that's true, this isn't just an isolated incident. This is like an organized, kind of like systematic betting scandal. Now, MMA journalist Harry Mack alleged that the FBI is considering auditing fights refereed by Jason Herzog due to repeated irregularities. Now, I'm not saying Herzog is a problem. This is what the reports are saying, okay? Multiple sports books also reported that they received large bets on specific outcomes from suspicious accounts. All right, so maybe there's like accounts that they just open up to make these big bets, cash out, and then, dip. And this isn't just, weeks after the NBA's own gambling scandal where players and coaches were arrested for fixing, matches and stuff like that. So here is why MMA is especially vulnerable to this. Unlike any team sports, a single fighter has complete control over the outcome. All right? It's not a team sport, it's a single fighter. And many UFC fighters, especially on the undercard, they don't earn as much. Okay? They earn modest purses. And Dulgarian just had a baby and was reportedly living in a trailer despite competing in the UFC. Now, that is financial pressure. It can create scenarios where fighters might be tempted by offers to throw the fight. Again, innocent till proven guilty. This isn't the first time this has happened in the UFC. If you recall, in 2022, there was a fighter by the name of Derek Minner that was cut after suspicious betting activity surrounding his first round TKO loss. His coach, James Krause. So interestingly, that Dulgarian previously trained under Jim Krause at Glory MMA before moving to Factory X in Colorado. I'm not sure if you caught that interview with Factory X's head coach on Ariel Helwani, but you can check that out. And just to go back in some history here, in 2015, South Korean fighter Taehwan Bang was sentenced to 10 months in prison for throwing a fight at a UFC event in South Korea. So the pattern is pretty clear. This has been happening for years, I will say. And now it's all kind of like coming forward to the surface. But it's nothing new. It's nothing like, should we be surprised? Absolutely, because these guys, they do mixed martial arts. You need to have a code, an honor code. But, I don't know if it's life pressure or what causes them to think weird, right? But what can we do? So what does this mean for the sport, really? If even a fraction of these allegations are true, the integrity of MMA is compromised. Every bet ever placed is now in question. Every upset, every shocking finish, every first round submission. Fans like myself, we're gonna be wondering, was that real, or was there money under the table? Was it fixed? The FBI is investigating, and Dana White says that the UFC will prosecute anyone involved to the fullest extent of the law. So he's planning to go after everybody. I understand you're going to ruin the sport. You're gonna ruin the brand even. But the damage right now in this case is done. Trust in this sport is on the rocks right now. And this could destroy the UFC if they don't handle it correctly. And right now, we're watching this unfold in real time. So what do you think? How deep does this go?